Hello and welcome to another Nikke video. New lore just dropped and we will finally get confirmation on how Anisa's butt smells. Alright, let's get right to it. And here I am on Famitsu. They've been doing this for a long time, but I'll show you what the title says. It says 1.5 anniversary director interview. The past of Marian from the Silver Gun Squad is told. The story of how Syuen becomes CEO will be depicted along with Laplace's past. Let me go down a little bit here. And yeah, here is a director. You see him a lot, throughout the whole Nikke stuff. I mean, especially with a lot of the interviews and stuff like that. And now let me just go down a little bit to pretty much show, the main meat and potato of this stuff. But pretty much, obviously, there is spoilers and some stuff they did talk about, throughout the other chapters. I don't think it's too much spoilers, but there are some spoilers here, just so you know. All right, the first thing they're going to talk about is the April Fool's event. It says the April Fool's event was interesting. What was the deciding factor in choosing Syuen as the main character? I thought Syuen was a character other than a Nikke that fit into the mischievous atmosphere of April Fool's Day. I didn't think I could show off Mustang's butt. Yeah, since I don't know players, I mean, I like Mustang, but I don't know if players would like having Mustang as a playable character. I mean, I don't know if that big old bald thing that he has behind him, yeah, I don't know how well that's going to be presented when he's battling, but I think it would be quite interesting if they actually did happen to put Mustang. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. There are some depictions of Nikkes acting alone without a commander. Isn't the commander necessarily accompanying them? Are there any standards for accompanying? Is it for simple missions that do not require operations, a commander may not accompany you? For example, in the case of a mission such as a resource extraction, the location and purpose are clearly determined, so there is no need for a commander. The same goes for simple transportation operations. In this case, we often send out mass-produced Nikkes that won't cause a big loss even if they are lost. Or like Absolute and Matisse, Nikkes are so powerful that their units can carry out operations on their own. So they don't need a commander. Yeah, before we always assumed that a commander had to be with them with every single mission, and we actually never saw some of the commanders with other squads. They were doing their own thing, or they said, oh, hey, a CEO or a commander told us to go here. But yeah, now it's officially confirmed that, yeah, they could do their own thing depending on what it is, which, yeah, it actually makes sense, for like, if they're just going to get something and leave, I could obviously see, they don't need a commander, but yeah, so it depends on what they need. They're going to do, they don't need to have a commander there. When planning the interview feature, where did the idea for multiple choice conversations come from? Yeah, here they're talking about the advice system here. And it says, I don't want to create a system where Nikke's favorability would change with a simple touch. We believe that dialogue was necessary to increase the likability of intelligent beings. So we reflected in this system. Yeah, so they just wanted to make it a little bit, more better for the player. They just don't want to have one option and that's it. They want to basically spice it up here a little bit. And it goes, there is a depiction of Anise and others being paid. What is Nikke's average annual income? I'm curious whether there are more or fewer people compared to the humans on the arc. It varies depending on the job group and responsibilities. However, overall, it is quite low compared to the humans of the arc. Nikke's like Rupee, Dala, and Yan are incredibly rich from the human perspective. But from a Nikke's perspective, they are incredibly rich. So yeah, there are multiple spots in the game, especially in the story, the side missions and everything, where they're saying, oh, hey, I need a job, and I'm working this job in order to get money. And even though they don't really need to eat, I know they eat because, they act like humans and they need some sustenance. I know majority of the time they don't really need money, but yeah, so a lot of people were confused of why sometimes some Nikkes need to work and some others don't there. And here it is, finally confirmation here. Does Anisa's butt stink? And it goes, it changes depending on the time and situation. So yeah, so so pretty much they're just saying it, hey, like, how like Nikkes themselves don't really smell. They don't really have a smell whatsoever. Pretty much how Nikkes work is that the only reason why they shower and all this other stuff is because, whenever they're in the field or they're working, obviously, whatever material or, stuff they touch, obviously that all those oils and grease and all that stuff get stuck on their body. So that's why they do stink in that part, but the Nikkes themselves don't technically stink. But yeah, so technically, what I'm trying to say is Anise butts does stink. All right, next up is, will there be a squad with fixed uniforms like the Absolute Squad in the future? Yes, many such squads are planned. I hope you're looking forward to it. So yeah, so see they're showing the image here, which pretty much Rappy has the same outfit as this squad since she was part of their squad a long time ago. But that would be pretty cool. I mean, yeah, right now a lot of the Nikkes do not have the same, uniform. It would be pretty cool, to, for them to actually do other squads that have the same uniform, but hopefully they don't do too many squads, since I do like how every other Nikke right now has their own personality, their own style and stuff, and actually they're able to express themselves through their own clothing. So hopefully there's not a lot of units that do happen to have their own, their own uniforms. All right, next up is going to be like the Aegis Squad. There are Nikkes from the Navy, but there are any plans to introduce Nikkes from the Air Force as well. It has not been decided when it will appear, but preparations are progressing steadily. So it looks like there will be eventually, but there is currently one Nikke that does happen to look like from the Air Force. It's technically Query. Yes, Query has a lot of outfits that are similar. Her whole outfit is, and only that her hat is an Air Force hat there. Not only that, also her weapon too, the bazooka. The rocket launcher. Yeah, it's pretty much very similar to an airplane there. One of those really, really old airplanes from from the 80s and stuff like that. Yeah, so she's the only one that's sort of like the Air Force, but technically she's with the ACPU. So yeah, it might be a totally new Air Force unit there. But either way, I mean, Query has very bad eyesight, so I don't think you want her to actually fly an airplane. All right, so how much freedom of action are, I believe it says Enoch and Enoch, I believe, allowed? Can I leave my room or the building? It says Enoch and Enoch basically only act within the space given to them. You can go anywhere you want, but you are putting restrictions on yourself. This is to prevent confusion and physical destruction. All right, now next up is how many grams of sugar is in Sugar Special Vending Machine coffee? The coffee is so thick, it almost resembles maple syrup. It can fit an awful lot. So pretty much what they're saying is you get diabetes by drinking this soda. That's what they're trying to say. Please tell us why Dorothy's troops are not proud goddesses, but inherits. Okay, it says currently Dorothy is not a goddess because for some reason she fell out of favor with the goddess squad. Yeah, for some reason, obviously. She is currently assigned to a squad called Inherent in order to fulfill her own goals. Yeah, currently right now Dorothy is not really buddy-buddy with the goddess squad, and the goddess squad, they feel for Dorothy, but yeah, they're sort of not really like seeing eye to eye currently right now. Does Nikke's hair grow naturally? Although there are differences in the speed depending on the individual, everyone's hair grows. Hair design Nikke maybe will appear one day. So obviously here they mean the hair growing naturally on their head, but obviously this could insinuate hair growing in other parts of their body. Not only that as well, a hair designer Nikke, maybe like something like Edward Scissorhands, something like that. That'd be pretty cool. We have like these weird Nikkes like with that sort of look like humans, sort of not. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but I think they're just gonna do it like basically a regular stylist Nikke there, most likely. All right, now next up, let's gonna look at the men in the world of Nikke have no prominent occupations other than being a commander. Nikke does most of the jobs, so what kind of jobs do ordinary men do? It's the same as today's society. Even though they don't appear in the game story, all the ordinary men work and live in their own position. So yeah, I guess there's like blue collar work, white collar works, basically plumbing, management, stuff like that. So yeah, just stuff how we have in a regular world. That's what they're just saying there. You don't really see them since they're not really, really integral to the main story. Are there any other members of the Silver Gun Squad that Marian belongs to? There are other members as well. We plan to reveal it when we talk about Marian's past. So yeah, so pretty much we only see Marian in the beginning of the game, very, very short time. And yeah, her squad is called Silver Gun. And she has a pretty good kit too. If you actually hit pause when you're ever actually going to the beginning of the game, you can actually look at her kit. She's a very strong unit for basically that we get. Unfortunately, we got it for a very short time. And there are other members in the squad. I mean, obviously we only saw her and that was it. And we don't have any, inkling of anything that happened to her other squad. We only know about her, and no other CEO or commander has brought up anything about her squad, since the beginning of the game. All right, now next up is here. I would like to know why Syuen, the CEO of Missilus Industry, has become the way she is. Is it because you grew up in a strict family environment? Or how did you become the way you are now? I can't tell you the details, but judging from the fact that such a child became the CEO of a huge company that controls the fate of the Ark, I can imagine that a lot of things must have happened before she became CEO. She may not have had a choice. It may have been more difficult than she imagined. This will be depicted together with Laplace's past, but the timing has not been decided yet. So yes, I originally thought she was a very short woman. Adult woman, that's what I thought, but here she says a fate of such a child. So either they're talking about the past of, before she became an adult, that she was a child and then, she became an adult and then a CEO. Or if not, she is currently a child now. I'm not really sure. I assume that she was always an adult, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Let me go to the next section here. It says everything except Johan's head is replaced by machines. Is Johan's body an application of nickification technology, or is Johan's unique technique? It's based on Eden's technology. Eden's technology is more advanced in the arc. So yeah, basically Johan chromed up. I mean, yeah, pretty much his whole body is nothing but electronic and mechanics here, and only his head, and I'm assuming his brain too is, you know, pretty much human. I know that in one of the advice sessions for Noah, that pretty much Noah, you know, I think the commander and Noah talked about Johan, and I think Noah had actually asked the commander if he was like okay with basically doing what Johan did, and he was totally cool with it. So yeah, I guess one day it's totally possible that the commander will chrome up as well. You know, he's built different. Among the Nikkes of Life Tonic, why is Epinel the only one made by Mesilis? Because Epinel wanted to ride a skateboard and was good at it. Mustang directly negotiated with Mesilis and assigned him to a unit under Tetra. It is surprisingly common for Nikkes from other companies to be attached to units under the umbrella of a specific company. So yeah, when I was trying to read this, I was assuming that that, you know, she's pretty much that Epinel is made from a different CEO, but they sort of like, you know, another CEO is sort of like being run under them. I don't know. I don't know if I read this correctly. It's either that or they just say, no, hey, Nikkes just belong to some certain companies and that's it. But you know, it's basically some certain squads or something like that. But yeah, I wasn't 100% sure how to read this one, since the way I'm reading it is I'm assuming that one company made them. And then, you know, they basically let them use another company use that unit in their stead. That's the way that I'm reading it, but I could be totally wrong there. Is Rapunzel a natural pervert, or is it something acquired due to some kind of change in thinking? Okay, it says Red Hood noticed Rapunzel's talent early on, so I think it's reasonable to assume that it's something she was born with. You know what? I think Red Hood had a hand to it, because honestly, Rapunzel, you know, she was more holy. She just wanted to help people. She didn't really know any of these carnal pleasures here. And, you know, it wasn't until Red Hood, you know, showed her the magazine, you know, that sort of like mind switched her to become this pervy Nikke here. But yeah, I think Rapunzel did nothing wrong. Anyways, let me go to the next thing here, where it says, please tell us about Scarlet's favorite drink. I don't particularly dislike anything, but I don't like things that contain additives. Scarlet prefers natural flavors, which is why she makes her own sake. Yeah, which makes sense, you know, since they actually do wander the world. I mean, there's only so much alcohol out there, and, you know, after like so many years have already passed, you know, especially since it's already been 100 years since the beginning, since the Red Ash event there, I'm pretty sure most of the alcohol is pretty much have already been drank, either by them or have been destroyed. So most likely, you know, she should make her own, especially since she does do a whole bunch of gardening. I mean, she should be able to make it on her own, no problem. All right, it says last year there was an event featuring the Aegis unit, but are there any plans for any event featuring the Infinity Rail unit? There are no plans for this year. It may become possible in the future. So yeah, here they're talking about the Helm Squad, and for this Infinity Rail, this is with Diesel and Britain and Soline and stuff like that. Yeah, so unfortunately, it doesn't look like anything that's going to be belonging to them, which is very sad. I think Diesel's going to be very sad to hear that. We will be able to see Red Hood in future Outpost events. The temporal setting of the sudden event of the Outpost is currently ongoing. Red Hood's sudden event will not occur. So yeah, so if the Outpost event, what they mean is whenever you go to the Outpost, you look at the top left corner, you see a whole bunch of, you know, chicas you can talk to. That's what they're meeting on here. I mean, technically it could work. It just, they're going to have to, like, you know, do something else to make it work. Since currently right now, Red Hood wasn't in any of the current stuff that's currently in the arc. So yeah, it's going to have to be something different. It could technically work, but yeah, not in the current way that it's currently in the game. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, there's a little bit more lore here, you know, regarding, you know, Scarlet's favorite drink, about Rapunzel being pervy there, you know, about Johan being chromed up, Syuen being CEO and having some past with Laplace there, you know, with Marian and her Silver Gun squad, you know, a little bit more lore about their, about the squad, since we have no idea what the other two members are. I wonder if they wear the same uniform or not. I don't know. Also about the citizens of the Ark, which is pretty cool. And also about Anissa's butt there, since I know everybody had a lot of questions, especially since the beginning of the game, you know what happened since we were in her line of fire there. But yeah, we finally got a little bit more lore here. I don't know if they had to talk about everything they talked about here, but I mean, I guess I'm glad they did. I mean, I'd rather have a little bit more mystery than what they said there, but anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of lore for you guys. And yeah, so we have the next update for Clay coming up very, very soon. And hopefully you guys enjoy that as well. Alright, if you happen to enjoy the video, please give me a like and a sub. I would really appreciate it. I'm Scrublord, and I'll see you in the next video.